Hello guys, welcome back to class 10 biology from Karim's Biology. This is lesson excretion, the wastage disposing system, and in this session we will be learning about secondary metabolites in plants. Dear students, the word secondary metabolites is not a new word to you. In the previous class itself I told you the meaning of secondary metabolites. If you have not watched the previous session, I am leaving it in the iCards. Please click on the iCard and go through that session. Okay, now let us start the session.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
First of all, let me again give you the details of secondary metabolites. As I told you in the previous session that secondary metabolites, these are the metabolites or the metabolic products which are not required for the normal growth and development of the plant. Okay, though plants produce these substances for their own use, we have found the usage of these chemicals for our own benefits. So in this session we will be learning in detail about what are different types of secondary metabolites produced by the plants and in what way we can use that secondary metabolites in our day-to-day life. Now let us start our discussion with the first and foremost and of course the most important secondary metabolite, that is alkaloids. What are alkaloids? Alkaloids are nitrogenous byproducts and of course they are poisonous substances. So what are they? They are nitrogenous byproducts. They are poisonous. If they are poisonous, why the plant is producing these alkaloids? Definitely the plants might have some use of these alkaloids, and most of the plants store these alkaloids in their body, in the stem, in the roots, in the bark of the stem, in the fruits and also in the seeds. So the plants store these alkaloids in their body for their protection against the herbivorous animals as well as the pathogens. Okay, now there are some examples and the most popular among them are these plants. So we will be learning about the alkaloids produced by the plants which are given here. The first one is the Papaver somniferum, which is also called opium plant, and the second one is called Rauwolfia serpentina. It is also called Sarpagandha, and the third plant is Coffea arabica. You already knew about it. We are drinking coffee that is obtained from the seeds of this Coffea arabica. And the next one, tobacco. The scientific name of tobacco is Nicotiana tabacum. The leaves of this plant, they have some alkaloids. Datura stramonium, it is called ummetta in Telugu. The fruits of this datura, they have some alkaloids in them. We will be learning about what are the alkaloids present in these plants and where is it present and what are the uses of those alkaloids. We will be discussing. Now look at the next slide. In this slide there is a table given about the name of the alkaloid, name of the plant and the part of the plant in which the alkaloids are stored and the use of these alkaloids to the humans. Okay, so start from the first one, quinine. Okay, quinine is one of the most popular alkaloid in the past because it once used as anti-malaria drug. Okay, at the time when the malaria was newly discovered, most of the people, they were getting the cure from this particular alkaloid, and it is extracted from a plant called Cinchona officinalis. Commonly it is called cinchona plant. Okay, and I told you that the alkaloids are stored in different parts of the plants. Some plants store them in the bark, some plants store them in the seeds, some of them in the leaves. Okay, then where the cinchona plant store this quinine? We get the quinine from the bark of the Cinchona officinalis tree. So what is this bark? Bark is the outermost dry layer of the stem. Okay, there we can find this quinine, and I told you already the use of this quinine is it was used as anti-malaria drug. Okay, nowadays also it is used as anti-malaria drug, but we also got some other drugs to cure the malaria nowadays. Okay, and the second one, the second alkaloid that we are going to talk about is nicotine. Right, nicotine is obtained from tobacco plant. You already knew about tobacco plant. What is the scientific name of tobacco? The scientific name is Nicotiana tabacum. Nicotiana tabacum. And which part of this tobacco plant stores nicotine? Leaves of the tobacco plant. I think you knew that the leaves of the tobacco were used to prepare bidis and cigarettes, right? And what is the use? It can be used as insecticide and stimulant. It means it can be used to kill the insects that attack the croplands, and it is a stimulant, means it can stimulate the nervous system. That's why the person who smokes, he gets stimulated. His brain gets stimulated. That's why they were addicted to that. But continuous exposure of your body to nicotine in the form of smoking is going to damage your central nervous system. That is, the brain will be damaged, lungs will be damaged because of the smoke. There are a lot of disadvantages. Okay. Now come to the next one, morphine and cocaine. Morphine and cocaine are the alkaloids which are obtained from opium plant. The scientific name of opium plant is Papaver somniferum, and it is obtained from the fruit of the Papaver somniferum. And how is it useful to us? It is used as painkiller. Okay, it is used as painkiller to your body. Next one is reserpine. It is obtained from a plant called snake root. It is also called sarpagandha. The name of this plant, it is also called sarpagandha in Sanskrit, and scientific name of the plant is Rauwolfia serpentina. Right? And which part of the plant stores this reserpine? They are present in the roots, and uses are, it can be used as medicine for snake bite and also for high BP. Okay. And the next one is caffeine. It is obtained from coffee plant called Coffea arabica, and we already knew that it is present in the seeds. The seeds are roasted, powdered, and can prepare coffee powder from that. Okay. And it acts as central nervous system stimulant. That's why people who drink coffee, their central nervous system is activated and they remain active. That's why they frequently drink coffee. Next one is nimbin and nimbidine. There are two drugs, two alkaloids called nimbin and nimbidine. They are obtained from Azadirachta indica. Okay, it is called neem plant, or in Telugu we call it vepa chettu. Okay, and where is it located? It is present in the seeds, barks and leaves of neem plants. What is the use? It is used as antiseptic. And you know, the seeds of this Azadirachta, they will be powdered, and the extracts from the seeds of this neem plant can also be used as insecticide and can be sprayed on the crops. Next one is scopolamine. Scopolamine is obtained from a plant called Datura stramonium. It is called ummetta in Telugu. And where the scopolamine is present, it is stored in fruit and flower of Datura stramonium plant. And it is used as sedative. And do you know what is sedative? Sedative is a compound which induces sleeping effect. Next one, the last one is pyrethroids. Pyrethroids are the group of synthetic chemicals. They are obtained from chrysanthemum, which is nothing but chemanti puvu. Okay, and they are present in the flower. They can be used as insecticides to kill the insects that attack the crop. These pyrethroids synthesized from the chrysanthemum can be used, right? So these are some of the examples for the alkaloids, sources of these alkaloids, and also the part from which we obtain them and their uses, right? Now let us move on to the next slide. Here we are going to learn about other type of secondary metabolites called tannins. Okay, so what are tannins? Tannins are carbon compounds. They are carbon compounds, and they are stored in different parts of the plant, and they are in deep brown in color. So now you may be wondering, what is the use of these tannins? They are used in tanning industry. That means they are used in tanning of leather and also in medicines. So where do we obtain these tannins? They are obtained from cassia and acacia plants. Okay, so tannins are extracted from different parts of these two plants, and this is how tannins appear. Okay, they will be powdered, and the major use of the tannins is that they are used for tanning of leather. So this picture is a picture of leather processing industry. There you can see animal skins. I think that you knew that leather is manufactured from the skin of animals. So in order to get the leather from the skin, first of all, the skin is soaked in water for some time. Then the skin will be applied with these tannins. So applying of tannin to the skin of animals is called tanning, and this process is usually done in a special places called tanneries. Okay, and what is the use of this application of tannins to the skin? When the tannins are applied to the animal skin becomes tough. That means the animal proteins become tough, they will be altered. That is the first thing. And the second one is tannins have some antibacterial, antifungal properties. Because of that, we can prevent the decomposition of the animal skin. That makes the animal skin tough and also durable. Okay, that's called tanning, and for that purpose the tannins are used that are extracted from cassia and acacia plants, right? And the next type of secondary metabolites are called resins. Okay, resins are gummy substances. They are not gums, but they just like gums, and plants secrete these resins for the protective benefits, for their own protection. Okay, and particularly they are secreted in response to injury. When they get injury, immediately through that injured part, resins are secreted. Because within the stems of these plants that produce resins, there are some passages within the stem which are called resin canals or resin passages. So when the stem is injured, from these resin passages, resin comes out and the wound will be covered with these resins. So when the wound is covered with resin, that prevents the entry of pathogens into the plant. That resins protect the plant from the insects and pathogens. That is the main advantage to the plant. Then where does they mainly occur? In which type of plants they are present? They occur mainly in gymnosperms. Okay, and I have mentioned that already, that in gymnosperms there are some specialized passages called resin passages within the stem. Okay, and these resin passages, they secrete the resin. And then what is the use of these resins to us? They are useful in varnishes, in the preparation of varnishes. And the example of the gymnosperm from which we obtain them is pinus. Don't forget, it is very important. So let us now find out what are varnishes. Varnish is a liquid coating. It is a coating that we generally apply on the wooden items, wood or wooden items. Okay, and what happens when you apply this varnish onto the wood? It immediately dries up. Okay, it immediately dries up and it forms a thin transparent film on the surface of the wood and furniture. Okay, and what is it made up of? Most of the varnishes are mixture of resin, drying oil, dryer and some of the volatile solvent. Okay, so how it acts, how it works means, when you apply varnish onto the surface of wooden item, then the solvent portion gets evaporated. Okay, and the volatile solvent, it gets evaporated, and remaining constituents, they oxidize and they polymerize. Polymerize means they bind to each other and form a thin layer on the surface of this wood. Okay, and this thin layer will be a durable transparent film. The advantage is, when this transparent film is formed with the help of this varnish on the wooden items, this prevent the absorption of water vapor by the wood, so that the wood remains dry. The wood cannot be attacked with any bacteria or any fungus, so that the damage of the wood will be prevented. That is first point. And the second advantage is, when you apply this varnish onto the surface of the wood becomes shiny, so that the furniture on which this varnish is applied, it appears beautiful. Okay, so that's about resins. Now the next one, gums. Okay, gums are sticky substances and they are produced by neem plant, acacia plant, because when they are injured, when the stems of the neem and acacia, they got injured, or when you cut the branch of these trees, then through that branch you can see the secretion of some of the sticky substance. Okay, that is called a gum. Okay, so this is how the gum appears. You can see the stem, when gets injured, it secretes gum. What is the advantage? The advantage of gum to the plant is that when the plant produce these gums, secrete the gums onto the surface, then the injured part of the stem will be filled with this gum. Okay, then the gum absorbs some water, it swells up. Okay, and it helps in healing of the damaged part of the plant, because the gum seals the wound, so that prevents the entry of pathogen. So I already told you about that. Okay, and they are economically valuable. Though the gums are secreted by the plants for its own benefit, we can also use them, we can exploit them because they are economically valuable, and they can be used as adhesives. Adhesive means they can be used as binding agents, and they can also be used in the preparation of the medicines. Right, that's about gums. And the next one is latex. Okay, it is somewhat different from the resins and gums, because it is in white color and it is also sticky. It is milky white color substance secreted by the plants. And latex is stored in some of the special areas of the stem called latex cells or latex vessels. Right, now let us see what is the use of them. From the latex of Hevea brasiliensis, rubber is prepared. You know about rubber. Okay, nowadays we cannot imagine our life without this rubber. The tires of all the vehicles are made up of rubber. Do you know from where the rubber is manufactured? The raw material for this manufacturing of rubber is the latex that we get from a tree called Hevea brasiliensis. Okay, so you can see this is how the latex is collected. They injured a small portion of this stem, and there they arranged a collecting vessel so that after a few days the latex that comes out or oozes from the stem gets collected in this vessel. Like that, there are so many trees and they obtain so much latex, and in the industry the latex will be further processed to manufacture this type of rubber tires. Okay, that is one advantage. And we have one more advantage of latex. There is a plant called Jatropha belladonna. Okay, this is Jatropha belladonna, and latex from the Jatropha belladonna plant, it is the source of biodiesel. Nowadays most of the people are talking about biodiesel, as the conventional energy sources are depleted year after year. Now there is a need for us to look for the alternate fuels. So as a part of that, scientists were successfully able to prepare biodiesel from the seeds of Jatropha plant. Okay, so that's about another advantage of latex to the human beings. Okay children, these are some of the secondary metabolites released by the plants and how can we exploit them in our daily life. Okay, now let's talk about a concept called excretion and secretion. Okay, excretion versus secretion. There is a slight difference between excretion and secretion. They appear to be same. In nature, both of them are same because both are involved in passage of movement of materials. When you talk about release of hormone or release of an enzyme, we call that secretion. Okay, but when you talk about removal of the substances from the body, then you call it excretion. Okay, but both processes, they have one common point, that both of them, they move and eliminate unwanted components from the body. Okay, and the difference is excretion is the removal of material from the living being, while secretion is movement of material from one point to other point. So try to understand this. Excretion is the removal of material from the living being. That is, from the body of living organisms, some materials will be sent out of the body. When the waste materials are sent out of the body, then that phenomena is called excretion. But within the organism, if the substances or materials, when they move from one part of the body or from one point to other point, then that is called secretion. Okay, and human beings, we excrete materials such as tears, because tears are sent out of the body, urine is sent out of the body, carbon dioxide is sent out of the body, and sweat also sent out of the body. As they are sending out of the body, we can call these excretory substances. Okay, whereas secretion, it includes enzymes, hormones and saliva. You know, we have salivary glands. We have 3 pairs of salivary glands. The ducts of the salivary glands open into our oral cavity, and from the salivary glands, the liquid saliva will be moving into the mouth. That's why it is called secretion. Not only that, enzymes, when enzymes are secreted from the gland into the other part of the body, then that is also called secretion. And hormones, glands secrete hormones into our body. Their hormones are not sent out of the body. The hormones are secreted from the glands and they will be moving to the target organ wherever they are required within the body itself. That's why it is also one example for secretion. In plants also we have seen excretion. In the previous class I told you that how plants excrete. Okay, and through roots also plants excrete some of the substances into the soil. Okay, and secretion also occurs in the plant body in the form of latex, resins, gums. We have already discussed about them. Okay children, that's about excretion and secretion, and by this I conclude this lesson, excretion, the wastage disposing system. I hope that you got benefit from this video series. If you have any doubt from any part of this lesson, you can post that doubt in the comment box. Okay children, thank you very much for watching my videos.